Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming to our session today. My name is Jeff O'Donnell, and I'm a software engineer at Salesforce. With me here today are my teammates Sultan Ali and Jenmin Liu, and today we'll be talking about the Lightning Path base components. Before I go any further, please take a look at our forward-looking statement. You've probably already seen it this week. We ask that you please make any and all purchasing decisions based on what is currently available today. Here's a little bit about what we'll be going over today. First, we're going to give you a brief introduction to what Path is and how you can set it up. Then we'll go into a little bit of the history of Path to understand how we've gotten to where we are today. And then Sultan and Jenmin are going to dive further into these two new Path base components we have available for you to use today. And they're going to show you some pretty cool demos on them. One's called the Lightning Path component, and the other one is the Lightning picklistPath component. At the end, we'll have some resources for you where you can download some of the demo code that you'll see today, as well as some of the public documentation on these components. So first, let's talk a little bit about what Path is. Path gives you the ability to enhance any business process you might have in your org that's based off of a pick list. It can provide visual guidance to the end user, and it can include key fields for any stage in that business process to help keep the end users focused. So if you look here at our example, we have a custom object called delivery, which basically tracks a shipment. If you look at the path across the top, it's currently in the ship stage of that delivery. On the left-hand side, you have some key fields that are relevant to that ship stage. And on the right-hand side, you have some additional information such as links that are relevant to that stage in the business process. Now, traditionally, the way Path has been set up has been by an admin inside of Path setup. Now, this isn't going away for your existing paths, and in fact, you'll still use it for one of the Path-based components, the Lightning Path. The way it works is you go into Path setup, you select the object you want the path to be on, then you'd select your record type, and for custom objects, you're given the ability to select what pick list you want that path to be based on. And in the Spring 18 release, you'll also be able to select the pick list for standard objects as well. Once you've set Path up inside of Setup, you'd go over to App Builder, where you would then add your Path component to your page. So again, this Path setup isn't going away, and you'll still use it for your existing paths. Now, it's worth understanding a little bit of the history of Path to understand how we've gotten to where we are today. Back in 2015, we saw a very clear use case for Path, where it could be used to help sales reps and guide them through the sales process, keep them focused, and ultimately help them close deals. So back then, we released Path under the name Sales Path for the Opportunities object in the Sales Cloud, as well as for the Leads object. Now, we got a lot of great feedback from Path, from all of you, our customers and our partners, but we began to realize that there were a number of use cases that Path could be applied to. So earlier this year, in 2017, we began supporting additional standard objects with Path, as well as custom objects. And now most recently, we have two new attributes you can set on your existing paths inside of App Builder. One's called the Format attribute that allows you to change the styling of the path to be either linear or non-linear, depending on if you have a use case that doesn't have a clear beginning and an end. We also have the Button attribute that allows you to show and hide that Mark is Complete, Mark is Current button. What we're going to go further into today are these two new Path-based components that will allow you to further customize your org and your applications. They're available for you to use today, and they're available for both the Salesforce mobile experience as well as the Lightning desktop experience. So here we have our two new Path components. One's called Lightning Path, and the other one is Lightning picklistPath. And you can see there at the top, the Lightning Path is derived from a pick list that's specified by the admin in setup. So it's backed by metadata and requires that setup routine we showed you a couple of slides ago. Because it's backed by metadata, it can include key fields for each stage, it can include guidance for each stage, and it can include that Mark is Complete, Mark is Current button. Now, the Lightning picklistPath, on the other hand, is a little bit of a simpler component, but it's equally as powerful. It's derived from a pick list, but it's not backed by metadata, and it doesn't require any setup. That pick list is specified via an attribute on the component itself called picklistField API name. So it doesn't have any key fields, it doesn't have any guidance or action buttons, but both of these components are going to give you new capabilities that you didn't have before with Path. You're going to be able to create even richer UI experiences based around your path and your business processes by leveraging the power of the platform. You'll be able to integrate additional UI components, you'll be able to integrate the Lightning data service, and you'll be able to write your own custom JavaScript event handlers when firing events such as the onSelect event when clicking on a particular stage in the path. So next, Sultan is going to dive further into the Lightning path. He's going to show you a really cool demo as well as the source code for that demo. So over to you, Sultan.
Thanks, Jeff. All right, let's talk about Lightning path. So can I have everybody kind of scoot in here? It's OK. I'll be quick, and I'll make it fun. So you guys standing in the back, there's some awesome cubes here. You guys want to take a seat? Come on. Jason, help me out here. Let's get in closer a little bit. No? Tough crowd, tough crowd. OK, so I'll start off with showing you guys a demo component that uses Lightning path to streamline a hiring process. And then we'll look at some code for that demo component to show you how easy it is to use and integrate Lightning path into your custom apps. So let's switch over to my Salesforce app here. OK, so you can see here, this is a record page. So suppose that you are in charge of hiring for your company. You could use an app like this to go through the hiring process in your company. You can see there's Lightning path that shows different steps of the hiring process. And then below that, I have some relative content for that step. So we'll start off with the first step here called application. And today our candidate is Einstein, who's super smart, super genius guy. So for the first step, you can see I have the whole context of the application. I can look at his work experience. I can look at his education. He even has a LinkedIn profile. I can look at his attached resume. So it all looks pretty good, right? So what I'm going to do is use Lightning path to select the phone screen step. So what happened there? So when I selected phone step, the content below dynamically updated. That's done by the onSelect function of Lightning path. What happens is when I click on a path, I have my onSelect function to able to dynamically update the section below relative to that path. So basically, onSelect gives you the customizability to customize your Lightning path as you wish. So for example, you could define your own onSelect function, which when you click on a path step, could do something like send me $100 anytime somebody clicks path step. You can totally do that. OK, so let's look at some other integrations we have done with a Lightning platform in this app. I'm going to expand the path here, and you can see I can also see my key fields, which is part of the internal path. Since Lightning path is driven by path setup metadata, you still get to have all your configured key fields on the path as well. And then you can do things like, for example, if I click on this phone number here, I can start a phone conversation right here from the app with my candidate, which is super convenient. And then while on the phone call, I can take some notes here. Pretty easy. And I can even save those notes. OK, so now you guys got to really help me out. You guys didn't come together, but let's do this. It's going to be fun, right? So when I click save, everybody has to say, wow. OK? Good? You going to do it? Don't let me hanging. 3, 2, really loud. We got to make it awesome. 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you. So what happened there? So when I click save, it saved the record, and then it also refreshed my path, which is pretty awesome as a developer. And all that is being done by Lightning Data Service. How many of you are familiar with Lightning Data Service? Some of you are. So for those who are not, it basically allows you to do record updates, CRUD operations on your record right from your component instead of using Apex code, which makes it really easy. All right. So that was some fun with our phone screen step. I'm going to mark this as current step using my path, so it updates the record as well. So we can also do something similar. You can go to interview. You can schedule an interview with your candidate. Similarly, you can look at your key fields for that step as well. So let's say the interview goes pretty well. Einstein is awesome. We had a great interview. We're going to move on to the offer step. Here, once again, you can see, let me remove that. So being this lightning path, you get to see your configured fields. And based on those fields, you can take relative action for that step. So in my case, I'm going to collapse this. Since I'm on the offer step, I can compose an offer right here from Lightning Path. I can attach some documents with my offer. I can compose a message. And straight from my app, I can click this button, and boom. The offer is going right live, some Bitcoins being sent to Einstein straight from our app. OK. So with that, now the interview is done. The offer is done. We're going along pretty well along our hiring process. I'm going to mark this step as current, which updates the path record. And then since I'm done with my offer, I'm going to complete this step, which brings me to my last step. So now, assuming that we had a great interview, everything went pretty well, Einstein was happy with our offer, he told me that he's going to accept the offer, which makes me super happy. So I'm going to click on this accepted offer button. Another path. We're going to drown you guys with paths today. So what happened here? So when I clicked that accepted offer button, it created a new onboarding record for a job onboarding object. And then it navigated me to that new record. And it also retrieved some relevant data from my application object into this new record. So you can see that it has the name of the applicant. It has the team that he's going to be joining and the hiring manager and so on and so forth. So basically, the idea is that you can use Path to really easily streamline your processes, go from one process of hiring an applicant to onboarding him and so on and so forth. So that's the end of demo. And now let's switch over to the code behind this demo. OK, so here we are in the developer console for my org. And you can see this is my main component that I use to create the demo app. On top, you have some usual attributes that I define. I have an attribute called hiring step that I use to control my app. And then below that is the awesome Lightning Data Service. So force record data is a component that defines the parameters that Lightning Data Service uses to retrieve the record and knows how to handle the record using those parameters. And then below that is my Lightning Path. And that's all you need to basically use Lightning Path in your custom apps. You just need the record ID, which Lightning Path uses to retrieve the metadata for path. And then onSelect is, like I mentioned, the function that you can customize path with. So in my case, let's take a look at what's in my onSelect. So all I'm doing here is every time I click on a path step, I retrieve the step that I clicked on, and then I set an attribute called hiring step on my component, which then allows me to basically control the section below you saw in the demo app. So if I click on phone screen, it shows the phone screen component. If I click on application, it shows the application component. So it makes it really simple to use and really makes a rich UI experience for your application. So that's pretty much it for the demo app. It wasn't too bad, right? So with that, I'm going to hand over to Jianmin, who's going to walk you through Lightning picklistPath.
Thank you, Sultan. Hello, everyone. I will continue to introduce Lightning picklistPath. I create a demo feature which builds a car step by step to demonstrate how simple you can use in Lightning picklistPath and how powerful when use it with other Lightning platform features. For that demo, I will use AppPath Simulator to demo it. So imagine a young couple walk to a car dealership. They want to buy a new car. And the salesperson open the iPad and tell them, let's build your future car together. By clicking this showroom, which is a custom Lightning component tab. It's associated with a custom Lightning component. On this component in the event, it will create a new car record and then render this car builder component. On the header portion, it's the Lightning picklistPath. It renders a path component on car entities building state field. On the body part, it contains dynamic content based on the current building state. The customer see these pictures, they really like the sports car, then the salesperson just click the sports car. On the click event, it will save the building stage to the next model stage, and the body will display all the models and the price information with highlight features. When the customer see this page, they really like the upgraded audio system, so they decided to go with Platinum module. And here, the salesperson just click Platinum. The same logic is triggered. Now the current state is the color. It lists all the available colors. At this time, the husband will click the right color because he knew what will happen after the click. Help me here. If the customer click the right color, please say wow. Wow! See the beautiful sports car is coming from the left side to the center of the screen. The both customers like this car a lot, but they realize the original reason they came here is buy to a bigger car to store their 2 kids, stroller, extra clothes, etc. So they changed the idea to buy a red hybrid mini one. The salesperson said, no worries, just select the tap stage again. On the select event, it will save the building stage back to the type. And after the 3 click, mini one, hybrid, help me here. Say wow this time. Right color. So the right mini one is delivered to the center of the screen. The both customers are really like this car, so they decide to buy this car. The salesperson can finish transaction by simply click this buy button. The whole sales price is very smooth and enjoyable. The customer like this user experience a lot. I don't have a lot of time to show you the full code. I will show you some relevant code for this demo. You can see here on the left bottom is Lightning picklistPath component. I set 3 attributes: record ID, picklist field, API name, and onSelect. It will render the UI just like the screenshot on the top. When user select the stage other than the current stage, the select function will be called. Let's take a look at the bottom right. That's the select function. It will get the parameter from the event and call helper.save. You can consider this helper.save is a wrapper function to update a record using Lightning date service without any Apex code. It's really simple. Next slide, I will show you the body portion. On the left bottom part, it contains for or run the if component. It will based on wait.stage to render the detail builder component. For example, if wait.stage equals type, it will render the car type builder and pass in the record and the build function to onBuild custom event. It rendered the UI like the screenshot on the top. When user click the image of the car, it will fire onBuild event and the build function will be called. Let's take a look at the build function on the bottom right. It's similar to select. It will get the building field and the values from the event and call helper.save. It's very simple too. From the 2 demo, you can see it's very productive for engineers to develop rich UI experience for business process. You can leverage the power of CFS platform by working with other Lightning component or Lightning date service, or you can create your own JavaScript event handler to customize behavior. It's live now for both Lightning desktop and Salesforce mobile. Thank you very much. We hope this session can inspire you a little to develop a rich UI for your own business process. And the last slide is the resource slide, as Jeff mentioned. The first part is the component documentation for the Lightning path and the Lightning picklist path. Second part is the source code for the 2 demos. You can use Salesforce.dx to install the 2 demos to your own org and check out all the source code. Even can run the demos like I run. The third one is the Trailblazer community. You always can post questions or feature requests to this site and get answer from Salesforce technical support engineers. If you have questions related to Lightning path or Lightning picklist path, please let us know today. We can discuss after the session. Thank you again.